recording. All right, well, we're going to go on and get started. Welcome back if you're a regular or you came last week. If you're new, welcome. My name is Mackenzie McIntyre. I'm the Wellness Program Administrator for the Texas Department of Transportation. That's a mouthful. I'm a personal trainer and group fitness instructor for about 10 years now, and I teach this class previously, Total Body Strength. This is just a little bit more of a calmer version of that class with less stress on the joints and on the body, but still getting some strength work in. So we're going to go on and start warming up. If you want to just find a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you, roll those shoulders down and back a few times. Take some nice deep breaths here. We're just resetting the nervous system. Maybe you've had a hectic Friday so far, like me. We just want to recenter here. We're going to take those shoulders down. Arms come to a 90 degrees here. We're going to rotate down and back just as far as you can comfortably go, and then up to that kind of goalpost position. We can call this our Super Bowl move for the week. I am personally a Cincinnati Bengals fan, which is a really tough life to lead. And we had absolutely no chance this season. So I'm not super into the Super Bowl this year, but I'm sure I'll still tune in. And when you're ready, we'll let those arms come down. We're going to quickly go into a cat-cow to kind of articulate the spine and warm up the core here. So we'll come into a tabletop position, arch that low back, and then we'll slowly roll the spine, tuck the hips under, tuck the chin under, and back through, reach the head up. Moving at your own pace here, just a couple times through. One more time. Good. And we're going to come onto our backs next. So find a comfortable position down on your mat. As I mentioned at the start, if you have a light, small kind of pillow that you want to place behind your head, you can. You absolutely do not have to. We're going to start to just warm up those glutes and hamstrings a little bit. So again, kind of doing the opposite of what we just did, slowly tucking those hips under, pushing through the heels, raising those hips up off the mat, and then very slowly coming back down. No weight here. Tucking those hips under again, pushing up, maybe holding it here for a couple seconds at the top, and repeat. Raise it up, hold here. Squeezing through those glutes and hamstrings, and slowly come back down. We're going to finish it out with just getting that core ready for our work that we're about to do. So again, tucking those hips under, my knees are bent. You want to think about lacing up that rib cage together. Everything is nice and tight and pulled in. That pelvic bone is pulling up and forward. And then as you keep everything here tight, I want you to just raise each foot off the ground while trying to keep everything else stable. Very light and easy move here. Just getting that core warmed up. We've got about 15 seconds here, and then we're going to go into our first circuit for the day. We'll focus on lower body and core. In 3, 2, 1, you can relax. I'm going to quickly show you our first set of exercises. we're going to start with a hamstring bridge, which is very similar to our glute bridge. Our feet are just going to be slightly further out. So instead of my feet being like here, a little bit more extended, you can either use 1 dumbbell or 2 dumbbells or no weights, whatever's most comfortable to you. I'm going to have 2 of my heavier weights on my hips here. Again, I've got those feet kind of extended out. Before I lift off the ground, I want to think about pulling my heels in towards my hips. So engaging those hamstrings before I even get off the ground, lifting up and back down. You'll notice this isn't as big of a range of motion as our glute bridge, and that's okay. That's what's going to help to keep that focus on the hamstrings. So that's our first move. Then we'll move into a clamshell with a weight. So we'll be on our sides. You can support yourself with your arm or even lie fully on the ground if that feels better. We'll have 1 weight on the top leg right here just above the knee. Feet are stacked together. We raise it up. We bring it back down. Those hips are staying pointed forward the whole time. So we'll do one side first round, other side second round. And then we're going to finish out with a crunch. You can either use a ball, a pillow, or just regular standard crunches. I like to use this little ball here. Same placement if you're using the pillow. Under the low back, it just gives you some extra support. Same thing as in our warm-up. We're making sure the core is nice and stable here. Everything's tucked in. We're staying steady with that breath. Extend over the ball. Come back forward. Small movement here, but again, keeping everything in line. I always get the shakes when I do those, so if you see me shaking, you know I'm working over here. Okay, let's go on and get ready for that hamstring bridge to start. Grab your weights if you're using them. We've got 45 seconds on and then 15 seconds of rest. Feet slightly extended. We'll start here in 3, 2, and 1. Raise it up, back down. Again, think about that mind-muscle connection of those heels pulling in towards the hips. You can keep the feet flat on the floor. I personally like to flex the feet and just dig the heels into the ground. I feel it more that way, but either way is fine. 15 seconds. Make sure you're breathing. You've got 10. In 3, 2, 1. Let it come back down to the mat. We're going to just roll to our side here. Weight goes on the top of that stacked leg. Again, support with the elbow or lie fully down on the ground as long as those hips are stacked. In 3, 2, 1. We're using that glute to open that leg. Hips, again, stay pointed forward. If you're like, what does that mean? That basically means I'm not rolling back with the weight. So everything stays facing forward, just that knee moves. Your alternative for this, if you don't like the mat version, you can always do the standing hip abduction. I actually personally feel this one a lot more down on the mat because you're working more against gravity than when you're standing and kicking out to the side. You're there in 3, 2, 1. Let it come down. Don't worry, we'll hit the other side on our second round. We're going to go right into that crunch next. Either standard crunch on the mat, or you can grab your pillow or your ball to support you. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. Slightly extending back or flat to the mat, and then just raising slightly, making sure all that work is coming from our core, so we're not just pushing our head forward. It should be a small motion. We also don't want to use our momentum
to just kind of pull ourselves up with our hip flexors. So all coming from the core. You can even put your hands over your core right here to feel it working. Feel that rib cage tuck into the hips. You've got 10 seconds here. Keep it going, even if you've got those shakes. You're there in 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Rest 15 seconds. We're going right back to the top of it with that hamstring bridge. Feet are extended back. Grab your weights if you're going to use them. In 3, 2, and 1. Take it up. Heels pulling towards those hips. Focus on feeling it in the backs of those thighs. Let's 15 seconds here. You're right there. In 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Let those weights come down. We are going to swivel over to the other side for our clamshell this time. So knees stack. Weight is on the other leg this time. Same movement in 3, 2, and 1. Raise it up and back down. Again, small motion here, but we are working those glutes, so you likely can use a heavier weight on this one. Twenty more seconds. Again, a lot of these mat exercises, I think people think mat and they think easy. I'm laying down on the ground. But they actually can, some of them, be more effective at targeting these muscle groups than the standing exercise. In 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're going into that ball crunch, and then we will take it back. Well, not back. We'll take it into a whole new circuit. In 3, 2, 1. Only 2 rounds of each of these exercises. Again, you have options with your arms here. If you want a little bit more support, you can always put your hands on the backs of your thighs. You can put those hands over your head, or behind your head, I should say. That can help support the neck, but it can also load the abs a little more because you're putting more weight back here that your abs have to push up. You can also lightly touch the ground if it just feels like too much, or over the core. So lots of options here. There's not one that's particularly wrong. Again, I have really liked incorporating the ball or the pillow into a lot of my core work. A lot of my regulars know that I have had chronic back pain way in the past. And a lot of exercises I just have not been able to do for years, but these tools really have helped me be able to get back into them. We're there in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Just who would have thought this little extra bit of support helps so much. Next, we're going to go into our upper body. So you're done with lower body for the day. We're going to start similar position to our clamshell, but we're actually going to be working our shoulders. So one weight, I'm going to use a lighter weight than I did for the clamshells, and we're just going to raise up and back down. So arm stays in line with the shoulder. I've got a slight bend in the elbow, just like that, very similar to our standing lateral raises. So that will be our first exercise. Then we're going to go into a single arm creature curl. So we're going to come to a kneeling position. Your alternative for this is just a standard bicep curl, but I've got my heavier weight here. I'm going to use my kneeling leg to support this arm and take it up just like this. So single arm bicep curl. We'll hit the other side on our second round. And then we're going to finish out with our bird dog for our core on this side. So back to that tabletop position, opposite arm, opposite leg meet, extend straight out, come back together, switch other side, keeping that core engaged, everything stable the entire time. You guys know the drill. Let's go on and jump right into it, starting with the right side down on the mat. We'll be using our left arm here in 3, 2, 1. 45 seconds. Take that arm straight up, back down. Again, this is another one. A lot of you that have come to my class before have done the lateral raises with me, and you've probably heard me talk about it. You've probably experienced sometimes those shoulders and traps and neck can get really tense when doing this exercise standing. I find down on the mat with a little bit more support, I'm able to really target the shoulder muscle instead of tensing up in the neck and the traps. Rest in 3, 2, 1. Nice job. We're going into that single arm preacher curl next. So again, I've got one leg up. I'm using that to support my single arm in 3, 2, 1. Take it up. Just straight up and back down. Again, if you don't like this for whatever reason, you can always switch to a standard bicep curl. If you haven't already noticed, a big theme of this class and a lot of the moves that I've chosen is just adding that extra stability in. We're doing a lot of the same things that we've done before. We've just got more points of contact, whether that's with the floor. As you can see right here, just with my leg, I'm able to lift more weight with this single arm bicep curl because I've got that stability. In 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Let it go. Right into that bird dog. Let's get into all 4 position here. We'll start in 3, 2, and 1. Opposite hand, opposite knee, touch, and then extend. Switch sides. You guys know my analogy. It's like you've got a glass of water on your back. You don't want it to spill. So we're keeping everything nice and smooth, nice and stable. No crazy crunching movements here. You're almost there. In 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. We're going to swivel right on over to the other side and jump into our second final round here. Right arm is on top for our lateral raise in 3, 2, and 1. Take it up. Again, I think myself included, we kind of get into the mindset that the more that we do, the better. Standing, doing 3 exercises at once, really getting that heart rate up. And some of that can be good and great, but some of these slower exercises with more stability do allow for a greater motor output from the muscles that we're trying to target. And if strength or muscle growth is your goal, that really is one of the most effective ways to train. In 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Go on and rest. We're switching over to the other side for our bicep curl. So I've got the opposite knee up, and I'll use the opposite hand for my curl here. In 3, 2, and 1, take it up. And I did put a Word doc in the chat. If you joined a little late, you might not be able to see it, but I'll drop it again at the end of class. And I do always include alternatives on that sheet. So if getting down to the mat is not for you, or you just want another option, there's alternatives for each exercise on there. We've got 10 seconds. You're almost there. And 3, 2, 1. Nice job. All right, Bird Dog to close us out here. And then we're sailing on home in our cool down. Let's get into the all 4 position here in 3, 2, and 1. Still putting intention behind every movement in this last exercise. Halfway there. Right there at the finish line. In 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Go on and sit back on those heels. You can take those arms out wide into a little bit of a child's pose here. Take a few deep breaths. We'll again kind of come back up to the all 4 position and do a couple more rotations of our cat-cow here, arching that low back, looking up towards the ceiling, and then slowly peeling the spine up into a curved position. Chin tucks under. Couple more rotations here. And when you're ready, we're going to switch on the mat over to our backs. And we finish super early today, so you'll get a little bit extended cool down. We're clearly still working out the timing over here. Last week we went a little over, so I think I was maybe too conservative today. We're going to take the right leg, cross it over the left knee here. If you feel a stretch just like this, you can just hold it here, or you can take those hands, lace them through the legs, and pull that left thigh towards you while thinking about pressing this right knee out and away. You should feel a glute stretch on the right side. Maybe next week we'll do the same workout, not same workout, but same kind of format we did today, just to add an extra exercise into each circuit. So we'll get a little bit more work and still have time for our cool down. Let's switch over other side. So left ankle is going to come over the right knee. And then again, you can grab behind that right leg if that feels good for you. Feel a stretch in the left glute here. And you can take those legs back to a resting position, just bent on your mat. We're going to take one arm across, just same as if we were standing or sitting. Get a little bit of a stretch in that shoulder, support with the other arm here. And switching over other side here, same thing. And let those arms, shoulders come back down to resting. You can even kind of roll them out a few times if that feels good to you. Then we're going to take it to a wrist flexor stretch here because we did do those bicep curls today. So I'm using one hand to pull my fingertips on the other hand, stretching out that wrist and that forearm. It's okay if your wrist is not totally flat. I do have flexible wrists, but if it's just like this, as long as you're feeling a comfortable stretch, that's all I ask for. Hold it here. And switch other side, same thing. Using the right hand to assist, pull those left fingertips down. And you can release from that, keeping both arms above you. Just roll those wrists out. Nice and gentle here. And switch back other direction. And slowly let those arms come back down to the mat. We're going to come up to a seated position. Again, whatever seated position feels most comfortable to you. And we're going to close out with some shoulder and neck stretches I think we can all always use. So let's reset those shoulders by rolling them back, pressing them down. We're going to slowly take the right ear, lean it towards the right shoulder, feel a stretch in that left side of the neck and hold it here. Again, giving yourself some gratitude for showing up for this movement break today. You've made it through the week. You're almost to the weekend. Let's slowly switch to the other side. Feeling that stretch on the right side here. And then slowly moving in to a circle, rolling that neck, pressing those shoulder blades down, switch other direction. And when you're ready, finding your way back to a center neutral position. That is going to close us out for today. Again, thank you guys so much for joining. I will drop a link in the chat with the Word doc that has today's workout in it. And then I'll also drop a link to last week's workout. And this week's workout will be uploaded after today's class. And remember, if you ever want to kind of get a longer workout in, you can always kind of stack these circuits together. I know we're limited on what we can do here in 30 minutes. All right, there is week 2. And I noticed when I uploaded last week's YouTube, I totally did not add it to the playlist. So if you checked the playlist and didn't see it, it is out there. I just didn't add it to the playlist, so I will do that this afternoon. But here is the link to last week's class. And again, I will upload